Hello everyone, this is Justin Zoyer with another video forecast. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the upcoming winter storm coming to portions of the Northeast, along with parts of the Ohio Valley, and even into portions of the Central Plains. In today's video, we will be breaking it all down for you. Starting off with the GFS. As you can tell, we're going to get our second winter storm up here in the Northeast that we were expecting. This isn't even the real deal for what we are expecting here back in the Central Plains. Now, this very well could be the real deal, that last storm up there in the Northeast. But if we go and look on the 11th, as you can tell, we're going to be seeing that rain mixing with snow and even some freezing rain over there in Arkansas. Something we have to watch for. Sharp cutoff line, but then we're going to see on the 12th more of that mixing in before it moves off, and that looks to be pretty much the end of that event, as we are really just looking around the 12th and 13th for this event now. And as you can tell, it does have a little bit of a storm up there in the Northeast, potential nor'easter. That's the 15th, but it has another nor'easter, so many storms could be to come. Now, if we go and look at ice through the 13th, as you can tell here, if we go ahead and look at this, you can tell scattered ice back here in parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, with a pretty good chunk here of heavy icing back in portions of Missouri and Arkansas, with a little bit more scattered towards central and northern, or I should say north central Missouri. Then pretty widespread all across the Ohio Valley, all the way up into portions in the Northeast. We see pretty widespread icing, but there are still some uncertainties remaining with that, along with total snowfall. Go and run that through the 13th. We're going to be looking at some pretty heavy snowfall out here on the East Coast, along with here in the Northeast. We do have this one dead zone that it is picking up on. I don't expect that to happen. I do expect to see snow in this area. But then you can see we see some pretty heavy snow here in portions of Missouri, Kansas, and Nebraska. Now, until we have a sharp cutoff line of where we're going to see heavy snow in Oklahoma. And I want to point one thing out, and it is that we were just having heavier snow totals earlier today here, and I do expect those to bounce back up in our next model run. I do expect to see a lot more snow than a dusting there in northeast Oklahoma. You can look at the European model. It is also on board with that storm. This is our storm there. It's actually not that intense on here. But it has a pretty massive ice storm on the 16th in the Northeast. We're going to look at winter weather, though. And we can only look at the 10 and 1 snowfall here, but I will show it. As you can tell, it still has that sharp cutoff line, but I do expect these totals to start shifting a little bit farther south, maybe more towards central Oklahoma. We could see about 1 to 2 inches, as you can tell, but it is a lot less on accumulation. Go and look at the Canadian model. You can tell it is on board with that snowstorm. It is on board with that snowstorm along with this one. And it also is on board with that turning into a nor'easter, and that one on the 16th and 17th. So that is something we have to watch for. I just play this all the way through. You can tell it is making up on some pretty hefty snowfall up here in the Northeast. As you can tell, a lot heavier snowfall back here in parts of Oklahoma, along with here in Kansas and even Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa. As this latest Canadian model run is showing, if you live in Iowa, you're going to see at least 5 inches of snow is what it's picking up on. It's also picking up on, if you live in Oklahoma, you should see at least a dusting. Kansas, you should see at least about 2 to 3 inches, and so on. Like, it's even picking up on, like, in the Northeast, you should see about 1.5 feet. So, little crazy, but if we go and look at total ice, you can see, it has some pretty good icing back here in Texas. I do not agree with this icing anywhere below Norman. Anywhere south of Norman, I do not believe will happen. And even, like, if I were to draw a line of where I think icing will be, I feel south of this line is going to be pretty much impossible to see any icing. I need to draw that line better, actually. I say south of this line, it is possible, but not the most likely. South of this line, I feel it is more likely. And keep in mind that this line is going from purple to black is what I'm considering south. Blue to, or pink, I should say, blue to pink. Then our last line is going to be yellow, and I say icing is more likely across. Let's do orange here. Is most likely to the west over here, to the east of this line and west of that line, and then to the east of this line it is most likely. Hope that helped a little bit understanding the icing. Here is my slideshow. Key points. What we know about the storm. We know a winter storm will happen. It is likely to be across the central/northern plains into the Ohio Valley in the Northeast. 6+ inches of snow possible in some areas. Arctic air will rush in, is what we know. What we don't know, though, on the key points, is the exact track of the low pressure, exact snow/ice accumulations, when that cold air will arrive, how far south cold air gets, and how strong out low pressure will be. Hope you guys all did enjoy today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe.